The statement that HYBE will do anything to keep Jungkook is not an exaggeration. It is an unavoidable reality, built on data, history, and future projections. At its core, Jungkook is not merely a performer. He embodies the link between Korea's local pop industry and the global music economy. His value stretches across fan loyalty, music production, fashion, advertising, and international branding, sectors that HYBE cannot afford to lose grip on. One of the strongest arguments behind HYBE's determination to retain Jungkook lies in his direct economic value. BTS as a group has long been described as a multi-billion-dollar driver of South Korea's economy, contributing significantly to GDP through album sales, concert tours, merchandise, and tourism. Within that machine, Jungkook has consistently proven to be one of the strongest individual revenue generators. Consider his solo debut album Golden in 2023. Within days of release, it topped charts globally, breaking records for both Korean and Western artists. The numbers painted a clear picture. Jungkook was not just riding the BTS wave, he was capable of leading it on his own. Every song he released dominated Spotify, Apple Music, and Billboard rankings, attracting not only BTS fans, but casual listeners worldwide. For HYBE, this demonstrated a crucial fact. Jungkook represents both continuity and independence. He is tied to BTS's legacy, yet he can also function as a standalone global act. The financial implications of this duality are massive. HYBE has long known the risks of relying too heavily on group activities, particularly with the mandatory military service affecting schedules. With BTS members enlisting one by one, HYBE needed a figure who could keep momentum alive internationally. Jungkook fit that role perfectly. His ability to transition smoothly from group activities to solo success secured HYBE's revenue streams during uncertain times. This financial dependency explains why HYBE cannot afford even the possibility of Jungkook drifting away. Should another company attempt to recruit him with promises of creative freedom or larger shares of revenue, HYBE would face a catastrophic loss, not just of one artist, but of a massive percentage of their cultural and financial influence. Beyond money, there is the emotional factor. Jungkook's identity as the Golden Magne has made him the emotional core of BTS's story. Fans across the world have watched him grow from a shy 15-year-old into a confident global superstar. This growth narrative is unique, personal, and irreplaceable. For HYBE, this emotional attachment is pure power. It fuels album sales, fan-driven campaigns, sold-out concerts, and brand loyalty. Fans don't just support Jungkook because of his music. They feel invested in his life. Every achievement feels like their own victory. Every challenge feels like a collective struggle. In the entertainment industry, such emotional capital is more valuable than any marketing campaign. If HYBE were to lose Jungkook, the emotional blow to fans would be far greater than the loss of any other idol. His departure could fracture fan communities, weaken trust in the company, and create ripple effects across all HYBE subsidiaries. For a company that relies heavily on fandom-driven consumption, this risk is simply too large to ignore. Another key reason why HYBE will stop at nothing to keep Jungkook is his unparalleled social media presence. In today's music industry, social platforms are not just promotional tools. They are battlegrounds of visibility and relevance. Jungkook has consistently ranked among the most searched, most discussed, and most shared figures on platforms like Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it is a simple live broadcast on Weverse, a casual post of him eating dinner, or behind-the-scenes rehearsal clips, Jungkook dominates the digital space. This dominance translates into real-world impact. When Jungkook mentions a brand, products sell out within hours. When he casually hums a song, streams for that track skyrocket. In marketing terms, he is a super influencer, but unlike typical influencers, his reach is not confined to a niche. He spans across music, fashion, lifestyle, and even national identity. HYBE understands that this type of digital power cannot be manufactured. No trainee, no matter how talented, can replicate the authenticity of Jungkook's online presence. His ability to connect with fans in a direct, relatable way has been cultivated over years, and it is precisely this trust that drives engagement metrics. Losing him would mean losing one of the most powerful digital engines in the global entertainment market. Perhaps one of the clearest signs of Jungkook's irreplaceable status is his magnetism for global brands. Over the last few years, Jungkook has become one of the most sought-after faces for endorsements and partnerships. His collaboration with Calvin Klein redefined the brand's visibility in Asia and created shockwaves in Western markets. The campaign was not only successful commercially, but also iconic culturally, cementing Jungkook as both a fashion figure and a global representative of Korean artistry. Other brands have taken notice. From luxury fashion houses to lifestyle companies, everyone wants to tap into Jungkook's influence. For HYBE, this translates into strategic leverage. By aligning Jungkook with top brands, they are not only boosting his image, but also cementing HYBE's position as a company that exports global icons, not just pop stars. If HYBE were to lose Jungkook, rival companies would immediately swoop in, redirecting this brand magnetism to their own advantage. That is a scenario HYBE cannot allow, because it would signal a loss not only of an artist, but also of global cultural capital. Unlike many idols who peak quickly and fade into obscurity, Jungkook has shown consistent creative growth. His skills as a vocalist, dancer, and even producer have evolved steadily, proving that his artistry has longevity. This is vital in an industry often criticized for its disposability. HYBE knows that Jungkook is not a temporary phenomenon. His trajectory suggests that he could remain a central figure in global music for decades, much like Western icons such as Justin Timberlake or Beyoncé, who transitioned from group success to enduring solo careers. For HYBE, investing in Jungkook is not about the short term. It is about securing long-term relevance in the international entertainment landscape. This foresight explains why HYBE will likely give Jungkook extraordinary levels of creative freedom, financial incentives, and personal support. They understand that the more he grows, the more the company grows with him. This reveals an important truth. HYBE does not just want Jungkook to stay. They want him to feel empowered within the company. Idol contracts have long been criticized for being restrictive, with little room for individuality. HYBE cannot afford such restrictions when it comes to Jungkook. His global status requires autonomy, whether in deciding which genres to explore, which brands to align with, or even which global markets to prioritize. By rewriting contract terms with Jungkook in mind, HYBE effectively set a new standard for the industry. Other idols, even within HYBE, may not receive the same level of flexibility. But this is precisely the point. Jungkook is not treated as an equal among peers. He is treated as the centerpiece of the entire ecosystem. Contracts may guarantee financial incentives, but emotional investment guarantees loyalty. HYBE has learned that stars don't stay with companies just for money. They stay when they feel supported, respected, and understood. With Jungkook, HYBE has carefully positioned itself not just as an employer, but as a family-like institution. They provide platforms for his personal growth, from supporting his decision to experiment with English-language singles to backing his fashion campaigns with brands like Calvin Klein. The company understands that Jungkook thrives when he is allowed to explore new territory, and they have built an environment where he can do so safely under their banner. This approach is also evident in how HYBE manages public narratives. They carefully highlight Jungkook's achievements in press releases, social media campaigns, and shareholder meetings, always framing him as a symbol of the company's vision. This does more than boost stock prices. It reinforces Jungkook's sense of belonging. When an artist feels recognized not just as a worker, but as an identity-defining figure for the company, their emotional connection deepens. HYBE's ambitions go far beyond South Korea. The company envisions itself as a global entertainment powerhouse, competing not just with K-pop agencies, but with Western labels like Universal Music Group and Sony Music Entertainment. In this expansion, Jungkook is their sharpest spear. His solo success in Western markets has already proven his ability to transcend the K-pop label. Songs like Seven and Standing Next to You topped international charts, showing that his appeal is universal rather than niche. HYBE seized on this momentum, using Jungkook's image to anchor their global strategy. In the US, for example, Jungkook has been positioned as a crossover star. In Japan, his campaigns with Calvin Klein reinforced his dominance in the fashion and lifestyle sectors. In Europe, HYBE has pushed his music on major streaming platforms, ensuring visibility beyond Asian markets. Every step of HYBE's international expansion is carefully tethered to Jungkook's trajectory. For HYBE, this creates a paradox. They need Jungkook for global expansion, but the more global he becomes, the more other companies will try to lure him away. This is why HYBE invests so heavily in him, not only to keep him from leaving, but to make leaving seem unthinkable. To understand HYBE's urgency, one must also consider the competitive threat. Jungkook's value is not lost on other companies. Global record labels in the US and Europe see him as the ultimate crossover artist, someone who could redefine the Asian presence in Western pop. Luxury fashion houses, too, view him as the perfect ambassador, capable of blending youthful energy with global sophistication. The risk is clear. If HYBE ever faltered in its support, rivals would immediately move in. Imagine Jungkook signing directly with a Western label like Columbia Records or partnering exclusively with a brand like Louis Vuitton outside HYBE's control. The cultural and financial loss would be devastating, not just for HYBE, but for South Korea's entertainment industry at large. This threat explains why HYBE is proactive rather than reactive. They don't wait for competitors to approach Jungkook. They secure his loyalty long before such offers can even be considered. By keeping him constantly engaged with new projects, tours, and campaigns, they ensure he never has a reason to look elsewhere. Another important layer is the internal dynamic within BTS. While all members are valuable, HYBE knows that Jungkook's role is unique. He appeals equally to hardcore fans and casual listeners, bridging the gap between fandom-driven K-pop and mainstream global pop. This balance means that Jungkook's activities often sustain BTS's overall brand visibility, even when other members are less active due to military service or personal projects. In other words, Jungkook is not just important as a soloist. He is essential for keeping BTS alive in the public eye. HYBE leverages this by ensuring that Jungkook's successes are always linked back to the BTS identity. Whether it is through branding campaigns, interviews, or music releases, they highlight that Jungkook's rise does not distance him from BTS, but rather reinforces the group's relevance. This careful positioning secures two goals at once: maintaining BTS as a cultural force and keeping Jungkook loyal to the company that manages the group. The entertainment industry is unpredictable, and even global icons face scandals, criticism, or personal challenges. HYBE has invested heavily in risk management systems to protect Jungkook's image. From legal teams that handle defamation cases to PR specialists who shape narratives in his favor, the company ensures that Jungkook's reputation remains as untouchable as possible. This is not merely protective, it is strategic. By showing Jungkook that they will stand by him in times of difficulty, HYBE builds long-term trust. Stars often leave companies because they feel abandoned during crises. By contrast, HYBE makes it clear that Jungkook will never be left alone. This sense of security is another reason why leaving HYBE would be difficult for him to even consider. Amid all the financial, strategic, and competitive analysis, there is still a human element. At the end of the day, Jungkook is not just an asset. He is a person with ambitions, insecurities, and dreams. HYBE has demonstrated an understanding of this reality, offering him room to rest, create, and experiment. This human-centered approach is both emotional and practical. It recognizes that Jungkook's artistry cannot flourish under constant pressure and that his loyalty can only be secured if he feels truly valued. In this way, HYBE's relationship with Jungkook goes beyond typical corporate dynamics. It is almost symbiotic. His growth fuels their growth, and their stability fuels his confidence.